Good morning and welcome to the Devil's Note, album reviews of the past, present, and tomorrow. Today I want to take a trip back to 1968 with four guys from Birmingham, England, formed what later would become the birth of heavy metal. It revolutionized music as we knew it. Nothing could sound even close to the same as what Black Sabbath was at that time. You had bands like Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, The Doors. They were filling arenas and album sales beyond belief. But they didn't have that darkness. They didn't have that brutal honesty. They still had a fantasy light to their lyrics. Black Sabbath was real. Black Sabbath was in your face. Black Sabbath was metal. At a time when metal did not exist. In 1968, they sounded totally different though. They were not even named Black Sabbath. They were called Earth. It wasn't until 1969 when Geezer Butler walked in with the lyrics to Black Sabbath that they became Black Sabbath. The song was so powerful that it became their name. It summed up their music. It was Black Sabbath. The lyrics was very dark, very cold, scary, especially for that time. It was way ahead of its time. Musically, lyrically, vocally. This music was the music of the future. A lot of people didn't want to hear it. Critics slammed this album. What dumbasses. This became the staple for every metal album, from every band, every subgenre to follow. This was the groundwork. This was the first metal. Some may argue the first metal song was Stephen Was Born to Be Wild. Great song, but it was more of a whisper in the halls of the metal to come. Black Sabbath opened the door. And what came out would change the world forever. This title track, Black Sabbath, although it was not the title of their album, it was self-titled, but it was the title of their band. The lyrics dive into a story of a dark figure standing at the foot of a bed, pointing back at the person sleeping. That person was Geezer Butler. These lyrics was like no other. And Ozzy plucked the melody completely around everything and fit every word into it perfectly. Tony's guitar was so drug out, so dark, so deep sounding. And then you had Geezer Butler's God of Bass thundering behind it. And Bill Ward just blistering the set, all in a slow, methodical tempo. You couldn't ask for more mood in a type of music. And a lot of people, especially in Birmingham where it was dark and gloomy, this is what they felt, I imagine. Me at 6 or 7, I felt this. I felt this when I heard this music. I felt like I belonged somewhere, and that's part of what Black Sabbath is. That's part of what metal is. When you're a freak, people call you a freak. You have nowhere to belong, but you do. That's what music does. Whatever you're into, regardless. Later into the album, you got NIB. Just an amazing piece of music. Upbeat tempo, still dark and grinding with guitar and thunderous drums. The musicianship alone of this, the structure. Then the Messiah of metal, Ozzy blaring the vocals. This album really cemented Black Sabbath immortality and Ozzy Osbourne as the Messiah of metal. You later fast forward to Evil Woman. At face value, you look at the lyrics, it seems as if it's talking about a breakup, which it may be in a lot of ways. But the beauty about metal is you take what you relate from back from the music. Whatever the artist was feeling, you take what you felt when you heard it. What you were going through when you heard it, project it back. Mine, in a lot of ways, was addiction. And that's what I feel Evil Woman is a lot about. But at a time when bands were singing about the opposite end of the spectrum with love, 1969 Woodstock, the year of love. Well, in 69, Black Sabbath was writing their record. And by February 13th of 1970, it released in the UK. And then it wasn't until June 1st that it released in the United States. It sold over 1 million copies worldwide within that year. And it's sold 4.9 million copies worldwide since. Not the top Black Sabbath selling album, but it was an amazing selling album. And it was the groundworks to what we know now. The album finally closes out with like a 14-minute song, 3-part song. It was scary and it was exciting. It had the darkness to it. It had the mood. It's everything you wanted in heavy metal. You had long songs at the time like Stairway to Heaven, but it wasn't the darkness that we come to love from Black Sabbath. It wasn't the darkness that a lot of people felt at that time. The riff was thundering, the drums was blistering, and then you had the god of bass, Geezer Butler, coming in on the backside, just rumbling. Ozzy wailing. All this was so freaking amazing to what we have now that we hear from them. I'll close with my categories and my rating. Album cover, obviously, 5 metal horns. The album cover portrayed everything Black Sabbath was. Cold, dark, honest, brutal. Didn't back up from no one, which is what metal is. You are who you are. That's what Black Sabbath is. They are who they were. Musicianship, 5 devil horns. At that time, people wasn't making amps sound the way they were making them sound. They wasn't making the guitars sound the way they were making them sound. The structure, the way the songs fit around the vocal melodies, everything was a perfect formula for the storm. You can't get any better. Vocals. The Messiah of metal has always brought the vocals. That was what he was meant to be. And up to the day he died here recently, that's what he was. He had one more concert left in him and he wanted to do it with Sabbath. And he went out the way he should have, the Prince of fucking Darkness. He held nothing back at that concert. He laid it all out there. And then he peacefully passed. He got his wish. His vocals has been so amazing through the years, but very intervening on Black Sabbath's self-titled. The wailing, the structure, the control, the rawness of the recording, was just mind-boggling. The lyrics was like unheard of at the time. They were brutal. They were honest. Well put together. Very descriptive. Very creative. All you want in lyrics. And very well wrote. All these categories I give 5 devil horns up to. And if you're just coming into metal and you're hearing what is here today, what is out today, go back to 1969, 1970, when Black Sabbath released. Buy that record. Listen to it. You will understand where everything come from, and you would understand why they're forever immortal in the music world and metal. And Ozzy will forever be the Messiah of metal. Till next time, stay metal. And remember, this is an opinion, only an opinion. And like an opinion, everyone has one. And everyone has an asshole. So don't be one. You don't like it, just turn it and move on.